We are we're streaming. We're streaming. I'm Devon, Natural Devon. If you don't know me, we're streaming. We are streaming. We're going live. We're seeing if this bad boy works. I'm testing another stream today. Let's see. Come on. Let's see. Now Chrome is messing up. Come on, Chrome. We're streaming. Hi. Hi. Hello. What hiding your struggles is secretly taking or silently taking from you. I'm going to just give you I'm going to give an address today as soon as Instagram plays nice. It's rude. Okay. No idea, but we're streaming. We're streaming. Let's see. We'll start in just a moment. I'm going to start streaming. Instagram is failing to stream. Twitter is failing to connect. Okay. That's okay. Because, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I wanted to ask you a few questions. I wanted to ask you just a few questions. Or maybe just a question. Let me close Safari because, it's really bogging down the machine here. I wanted to ask you a question today. First of all, how are you doing? How's life going and all those things? I hope you're well. I hope you're well. And I hope that you are taking care of yourself. I hope you are not out here all willy-nilly being cray banana. It's not good for you, but I just wanted to ask you, how many times do you say it in a day? Those two words, I'm fine. It's so simple. They seem to fall out of your mouth without even thinking. Words like, how are you? Someone asks. I'm fine, you respond. It's automatic, but it's also instinctual. Both you and I know it's rarely also the truth, ever, the truth. But let me be real with you just for a hot second. I've spent years perfecting the art of being fine. Not physically, aesthetically pleasing, but like emotionally, I'm fine. And I've made it my default mode. And why wouldn't I? It only makes sense because nobody wants to hear the mess. Like at the end of the day, nobody wants to hear the mess, right? Like nobody wants to know that beneath the surface, you're crumbling. So you get good at it, at punching at the air, but you're still putting on a mask. The one that smiles and that keeps people at arm's length, the one that says, don't worry about me, I've got it all together. And I've built my life around that mask. You see, I've always been the person I've been a person that people have relied on, and the one who's calm sometimes, even kind of when everyone's freaking out. And the problem, and even when there's like a problem or something, like being a problem solver, it's like kind of like an instinctual thing. And sometimes, people use me as a shoulder to cry on. And yeah, like there's pride in that. There's a sense of control in knowing that no one can see the cracks. But here's the thing about cracks. Cracks grow. Well, crack is whack, but cracks grow. And slowly at first so slow you don't even really notice them, but eventually they start to widen. And then when they do, there's only like so much you can do to hide them. Well, I used to think I used to think that keeping everything locked away made me strong. That person being the person who always, I don't know, who always had it together was something to be proud of. It truly was. And no one tells you that carrying the weight of a mask like that gets heavier every day. And at some point it stops feeling like strength. It starts feeling like suffocation. Like there was this moment not too long ago, being at a function with, out with folks, nothing out of the ordinary really, but the same faces, the same conversations, but then someone always has to say it. You look like you always got your stuff together, don't you? And just like that, like a compliment, I guess, but it didn't feel like praise. It felt like pressure more so. Like someone had placed an invisible hand on my chest and just like in that moment just was like pushing down hard on me. Like not like a panic attack, but like you laugh it off, you smile. I said something like, "Yeah, I guess so," but inside it was something like someone like flipped a switch. And suddenly that mask was like it felt too tight. The cracks, the ones I'd spent covering up, they started to like spread out of control. And I wonder if you know what that feels like too. Like that slow unraveling, that feeling that everything you've kept hidden is inching closer and closer to the surface, that maybe maybe you can't hold it together any longer. Um I guess it didn't happen all at once. I think that's important to say, but there's no grand breakdown, no dramatic like scene. This is just live, just small moments, little chips in the armor. After that comment, I started noticing it more, the disconnect between how I felt and what I showed the world. And I'd wake up some mornings and stare myself in the mirror and wondering when I'd stop recognizing. When did I stop recognizing that person staring back at me? Like it's weird to experience. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're watching yourself from a distance going through the motions, playing the part, being an automaton, but is that really you? Is that how it that that's how it felt though? Like every day a little bit more of me slipping away, replaced by this version of myself that was more polished, more put together, but hollow, like a shell. And then there was this one night, just an ordinary night. I was at home, nothing particularly stressful on, but suddenly it was like in my mind the walls were like closing in. My heart was racing, like my hands were shaky. All I could think about was why can't I breathe? And no one was there to see it. Like of course I had no, like I'm constantly no witness, but no one saw this panic that was in my eyes, or they couldn't feel the way that my chest felt. It felt like it was caving in. But after it passed, I did what I always do. I shoved it down, buried it deep, and the next day, just kept smiling, nodding. I'm fine. I was fine. But here's the truth. I wasn't fine. I wasn't even close. And I knew it. What's funny, well, not funny, but ironic, is that I kept telling myself, you've been here before, you've dealt with worse, you'll get through this. But that's the lie we tell ourselves. That's, they had a whole campaign, Obama, all of it, everybody had a whole campaign. And it's just like that we can just keep pushing through, keep shoving the hard parts down, and somehow everything will be okay. But it wasn't okay. The cracks were widening, and no matter how much I tried to ignore them, they were there. And the more I tried to keep it all together, the more it felt like everything was slipping out of my grasp. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about hiding, especially the truth. It works. Hiding the truth works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it's like the floodgates open and all of the emotions you've been pushing down for all of these years, they come rushing up all at once, and you're left standing in the middle of it all, wondering how the hell you got there. Well, I reached a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. The weight of it all, the lies I'd told, the emotions I'd buried, it became way too much. And the scariest part, it wasn't the idea of breaking down. It was the idea that maybe I couldn't fix it. Like maybe this was one conversation I had with maybe this is that conversation would have with a friend, and they would ask like, "How are you really?" And like really, like they would like get in there, and for the first time I didn't, and for the first time I wouldn't know what to say because I would just default to I'm fine, but you can't. And I remember conversations like that, kind of just sitting there with your mouth open, because the truth is that you're not fine. And the truth was, at that time, I wasn't fine. And I didn't know how to admit that, even to myself. And I could feel it then, the breaking point, like a dam that had been holding back a river of emotions for years. And now there were too many cracks to repair. And I realized that if I didn't speak up, if I didn't at least let somebody in, let somebody know what was going on, that I was drowning in my own silence, things would get like really bad. So I did. I did something. I did something, that I hadn't ever done or didn't really think I had the courage to do. I spoke. I spoke up. Not a lot. Just a few words. I'm struggling. But it was enough to crack open the door, to get a little light in. And I wish I could tell you that speaking up made everything better. That once I admitted the truth, the weight was lifted and I felt free. But that's not how it works, is it? Speaking up doesn't just fix everything. It doesn't just erase the years of pretending or the fear that still lingers in the back of your mind. But it does something. It shifts things. It creates a space to breathe, a space to feel, a space to start healing. And that's where the change begins. And so I'm telling you this because I know I am not alone. I know there are others out there, maybe even you right now, who have been wearing that same mask. You've been saying, I'm fine, but when you're anything but. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to keep doing that. You don't have to carry that weight alone. And I want to introduce you to a new campaign that I'm doing. It's called Breaking the Silence. And it's more than just talking. It's about creating a space where it's okay to not be okay, where we don't have to pretend anymore. We can say, I'm struggling, and know that someone will listen. So here's my ask, let's stop hiding. Let's stop pretending we're fine when we're not. Let's be authentic and let's break the silence together. Because I would completely love that for you. Thank you.